The smartphone has been rotting my brain for a very long time, and these are some of the tools that I use to not use my smartphone anymore, right? So the first thing that I want to show you is this. This is not an iPod, it's a music player that I bought in Japan. It has 16 gigs of memory preloaded, and it can hold hundreds and thousands of songs. So this is something that I use every single day to fight against Apple Music and Spotify, and I own all the music in this, right? It has so many songs and I own every single thing. It even has a, there you go, it even has an audio jack, so I can just put an aux cable here and put an aux cable on the speaker right there, and I can just use it to listen to music anywhere offline, and it can hold charge for I think 3-4 days at a time, so it's pretty cool. And the second thing that I would tell you to use is, to fight this thing right here, is read books. But the problem arises that these are very boring because of the habits that we have inculcated all these years, doom scrolling on this device, right? We watch all these reels and all these long-form videos, and we don't even watch them fully, so our attention span is fucked. So we can't really read this in one go, right? So the antidote to that is the Kindle. It's the middle ground between the phone and this book. Why do I say it's the middle ground? Is because it can hold hundreds of books, right? It can even read manga, it can read these textbooks, and it can read so many things. So if I get bored of one book, I will just jump into another, and it's kind of like analog doom scrolling to say if I get bored of one book, but then I can just go to another book, right? So even though it is kind of like doom scrolling, but then it's healthier than that. At least you're reading and learning something, right? And you might argue that, why read when I can watch a movie of the same story, right? Or I can learn the same thing from, let's say, shorts or reels. Reading is an active activity. Your brain is not passive, it's actively engaged, because you have to read through these symbols, you have to make sense of these symbols, and your brain has to hallucinate a story, right? Which is a pretty damn cool thing that we can do. Reading is not a natural thing. You can watch something, but then it comes naturally. Your brain is passive. But then reading is an active activity, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing that I would tell you is this. This is the Miu Mini Plus, and I got this last year, and it's pretty damn cheap. And even though I don't really play games on this a lot these days, because I got this PS5, but then this thing has saved me so many hours of doom scrolling. Now you might argue that playing games is just as bad, right? But games, these older games, had stories to tell, right? You could explore the whole town, and you could go through all these stories, and that was something cool to do. It doesn't have any games right now because I removed the memory card, but then you understand what I'm saying, right? These games have stories, and when you complete a story, you feel something. You feel like you've accomplished something instead of scrolling. Because scrolling, you can't even remember the reels that you scrolled, the past 4 or 5 reels that you scrolled. But then you will remember a good game, a good story. You will remember that for the rest of your life, right? So this is why I suggest you to pick this up. And then we have the Rubik's Cube. I can solve the 3x3, but then I got bored of it, so now I have this thing, right? This is a 4x4 cube. I'm still learning how to figure this out. I can make 3 layers, but in the last one I need to figure this out. This keeps my mind engaged, right? If I get bored, I just pick this up, and then I try to learn speed cubing. I could cube under 30 seconds the 3x3, but then this is kind of difficult for me to do right now, but then I'm still practicing every single day. I'm getting pretty good at it. Then you have the analog watch, and an analog watch is kind of important because it tells you time. And you might say that even phones will tell us time, but then the phones do not only tell you time, but they distract you. And I try to keep this thing as far away from me as I can, because having this in proximity itself is a bad thing for my brain, I believe, right? Because I don't know, I feel distracted every time this is near me. So I try to use all of these things. And lastly, so this is a manga that I was working on, this is a manga that I was working on my own, and this made me so happy when I was working on this 3 or 4 years back, but I have not completed it. But then I was so happy making this because I had all these stories inside of me that I wanted to tell. So create instead of just consuming everything. You need to create something, and it will give you a sense of fulfillment, right? Because we are creative beings as humans, and if you don't create something, if you're only consuming things, then I don't know the kind of life that you're living. I don't think you'll ever be fulfilled, right? I don't get any money from this. I don't get any money from doing any of this, but then this thing helped me put out the stories that I wanted to tell to the world, right? So yeah, sorry my speaking is not that great, but then I hope you understood. So thank you for watching. Subscribe.